Water and Sewer District meeting, November 28th, to order.
And I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes as mailed from November 13th and November 14th meetings.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No public comments.
I make a motion, we sign the manifest on payroll as presented.
Yeah, and it's just manifest tonight.
Just manifest
Yeah,
tonight.
because
Okay.
we're off weeks.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All
Thank
those in
you, Val.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. So new business looking a little blank.
The only new business I do have is just to tell, I already told Chris, but to tell Judy now that our collections,
Accounts receivable.
accounts receivable, or our collections are down to $5,600? $5,600. Yeah.
Ooh, that's all the outstanding stuff.
Yeah, that's all that's outstanding.
Pretty
And
impressive.
I am advised that all of these folks have a payment plan arranged, so they make your payments on it.
Okay.
So this is
Wow,
great. This is super news.
that's like unheard of.
It's great. I can't remember what it was the last time we looked at it. But
Fantastic.
I think it was like 9,000, and this is like five and a half. It's great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. All the businesses.
Yeah, and you know what? We have one straggler purchase order, so if you want to do that before we get into the budget. I
Okay,
always put
sure,
those
yeah,
at the
let's,
end.
all right, so, we have one purchase order, and this is for Hartcross for the amount of $1,640 even for sodium hypochlorite.
I make a motion, we accept the PO.
Okay, second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, great. So let me tell you what's in front of you. Once again, I put the debt service, since that is going to be weighing more and more heavily
Yes.
on us. And then I have the actual expenditures through today, in case we want to refer to them. I specifically color-coded your water because I made it black and white.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll let Judy catch up. So it's the
Ah,
debt service, and okay, so the water budget, the sewer budget,
yeah,
and then I've got the historic rates
yes.
for you.
Let's get historical.
And I've got 2 pages of rates, but that's what we're gonna do. I mean, these are just paper
Right.
copies of what you can,
Looks like a similar format to last year.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
we get habit formed.
Right,
So
so.
you can probably, let's see, so I guess, I don't know if you wanna do anything with the budget. The budget,
Did we get the
now-
CPI?
Yeah,
Yes, what was?
2%
2%?
even. and
Holy
everything's-
cow.
Yeah, everything's included.
So now that's all up to date.
Right.
Yeah, and the
No.
increase isn't huge because we had already put in 1.6 as a placeholder.
Mhm.
So the only thing that's really outstanding at the moment is the asset management software stuff, computer support line, because that's what we're still working on, trying to figure out.
No, the server, there's money in the budget for the server. Whatever we end up doing, there's enough money unless we do something dramatically different.
Asset management software will
And
be
it's not
covered by the
asset
grants.
management.
No,
Oh.
no.
That's different, Judy. This is,
Well, it says computer support, so that's
The-
in the
the computer support is the line where it's not the GIS, it's just the computer support, but
It-
unless we do something dramatically different, we've got enough money in the budget to cover
I don't
whatever.
think-
I think we got enough money in the budget to do whatever we want to do.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
It just says 2018 asset management software, Continental and server, so I was just, if we are going to
I'm
adjust
kind-
that one.
I'm kind of sort of thinking that as far as the server network is, /network is concerned, it's not gonna be that much different.
Yeah, and
Okay,
that was just
that's
a
fine.
note, that note can come out. That was just a note to make sure that Cindy changed the amount to include what we wanted it to.
That's
include.
fine, I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure
Those
that
are just
wasn't
little
still
yeah, thank you.
outstanding or something like
Yeah, no,
that.
the last thing was the CPI stuff,
Okay.
and that's all in there now.
And we have these, all the things that are encumbered are stuff that's gonna be carried over to that line item next year?
Not necessarily. I
Okay,
mean,
it's
there's
just,
not- in the one you're looking at, there should only be the engineering reimbursable because.
right, that's
Yeah, that's
sewer,
the-
no, there's a
yeah.
bunch on water, so. Second page is full of them.
Yeah, those, remember, those were as of 10:04.
Oh,
when she did that, but in your expense report, which is a different document, Jason and Cindy are gonna be working down, these are the real
This one.
encumbrances here, yeah, and there's many, like 600,000.
Okay.
Not, and some of them are outstanding still because we're not gonna spend the money. These two projects came in less than the budget, so
Right.
there's money sitting there.
Okay.
We'll be working off the smaller, either their monthly payments that will, the encumbrance will work its way down.
Okay. We only
Or-
have a water budget for this one then, not sewer?
No, they're stapled together.
W or WW.
All right, well, they're all in blue, so that's why I'm,
No, that's,
I know.
sorry, the color code doesn't apply there. The first
Please,
couple,
you confused me, I got it.
those are the account numbers, the first couple pages are water and then.
I got it, I found it.
And yeah, there are encumbrances, but because we've stopped spending, except for this,
Yeah,
basically we stopped spending, we're gonna have an orderly year-end closing with the encumbrances worked off
okay.
to the extent that we can. We're not gonna leave things hanging, and then we'll decide what of those we do need to have you
carry
vote to carry
over.
over. Exactly.
Perfect. That's
The
what I
big
wanted to know.
Bond projects, you don't need to vote. They carry
Right.
over by themselves. so
Right.
Don't worry,
Okay.
I've had conversations with
That helps my little pea
folks
brain
that can help
get
make this happen, and it's,
caught up.
we check in on a regular basis about the
Okay.
encumbrances.
Good.
So, you've already become familiar with the budgets, and I don't know if there's any, you've had time to let it distill, if you have any comments or anything you want to say about those before we talk about the rates, because that's,
I just want to make sure that if we're gonna borrow this money, we're gonna do the projects. Yeah.
yeah, I don't
I
know.
wanna make sure if we borrow this money, we
Can we do
don't go
that?
into too
You have to
much
leave
debt.
town.
Yes.
Well, there is that too, but,
Well, I think I put it in the email to you. You can see the impact in the water budget of our additional borrowing of, I think our debt service is up, round figure, $124,000 over last year. And that impacted the rates more than anything else when we fooled around with the rates.
Mhm.
So,
so what's the shortfall
well, no.
on water?
No, there's
If we don't raise the rates?
no? Oh, if you don't raise the rates?
Yeah.
Good Lord. Well, right at the top of the sheet, remember, I think it's a tradition, or maybe it's a target, but the board had tried to pay for debt service with the base cost, under $5,000. And you
5,000
can,
gallons.
5,000 gallons.
Yes.
And you can see that that's not, that's not happening.
We're off by got it, we're off by $15 and got it.
I gotta find my own rates sheets.
So we're shortfall is the 62.8.
I got it.
Okay. So that's the 62.8 that we have to make up.
Here we go. Yes. And last year, I think water was in the green, and water was in the black, and we used it to offset what else we had to raise.
Really, we did a almost 8% increase, so I can't imagine we did that, but.
No, we, last year,
Mhm.
do you have the rates in front of you there? Yep, 0.83%.
We're not at 660 now, we're at 655 now, right?
No, we're at 660. We raised it by 5 cents each side. See where it says 17?
Okay, so then our page is wrong, because it says rate per thousand 655 and it's not at 660.
All right. Hold on and show me where you, all right, down at the bottom there?
Here,
Yeah, okay, so that
So
just,
that's gonna
I just
skew-
didn't change that. I just didn't change that.
but these numbers are right?
Yeah, that's not, it's part of the calculation.
It's not?
No.
Okay,
but I will change it.
All right, well, I can change it. So I just want to make sure it's
Yeah,
not
no, we're at
part of the
660.
calculation.
And no, that's in the narrative. There's no calculations coming out of that.
Yeah, because
column.
sewer's totally,
Sewer's 1079.
currently it's 1166.
Okay, all right. Oh, that's interesting, yeah, so when we were comparing it, we didn't change that, so we looked across. But
Right,
anyway, that's why we brought the computer, so we could
Yeah.
put numbers in and toggle back and forth.
okay, so yeah, let's get the right rates
Yeah,
up in
sorry.
the thing and then,
10, 1166. So,
Sorry, my-
yeah, we just didn't change,
my mother's accountant brain is screaming at me right now, going, yes, doesn't work.
Gotcha.
Do we
see,
want to see
that's not
this?
part of the calculations, so we weren't
It
changing
is
it,
in
but
sewer.
no, it's not, it doesn't
So
factor into,
Column A, it's label only.
yeah, thank you.
Yes, but
what I
column B, it's not label only.
No, but
This-
it calculated 1079 in this calculation.
Right.
That's correct here.
Why would it be correct here if our rates are 1166?
It fell that way. That would be a new rate.
Right, that's a calculated.
That's a calculated rate. And when we did it, we thought it was the same as last year because
2 years ago.
yeah, two years ago.
2015, yeah.
Yeah, no, well, last year we're still working on the
Right.
17 rates.
So we
No,
can-
15
So-
rates were 1079. So it's 2 years ago.
Good Lord. All right.
That's why I'm
So,
really
yeah, I'm sorry.
confused.
Yeah, I am too, I'm sorry. I think when we can rely on this column to be accurate, that's the column that is operable in the spreadsheet. That's the column that has the calculations tied to it.
Okay.
Yeah, we can
Why don't
shut
we
the stream.
tip that up?
So what I was going to say is if we change 1079 to 1166 in that column B,
We have to do it by use of fund balance.
okay,
Well, you can't just change it.
That's a calculated value here.
how is it getting calculated? I
All right.
don't know how it's getting.
Okay.
F2.
You can see the
I got
formula right up in the
I got
top
it.
bar there.
Yeah. So B28, which is the amount
Divided by
raised.
D15.
Oops,
Divided by
sorry.
D15. No, I got it. Which is the total remaining. Okay. So this goes back to what you were saying the other day, which was we could technically not do anything here.
Yeah, but we didn't intend.
We don't want to.
We were intending to get it to last year's rate, which
Right,
is
right,
166, which we can
We
right
can,
now
yeah.
through use of fund balance. Because in sewer, we have adequate fund balance to make the rates whatever.
We want them
Yes.
to be. So a minimal increase so that we're constantly building up fund balance, but not.
Right, well, in this model, we use 516, but we were trying to achieve the 1079, but so if
Right, we can
Jason
change it.
raises it by,
We can lower it and it'll go up.
no, you raise the use of fund balance.
Right.
You need to raise the use of fund balance to, and I would say put in 650. It's at 616, you see? Jason, help me.
No,
with it.
he's right. If you raise how much fund balance you're going to use,
It drops it, you're
it
correct.
drops.
Oh,
All right.
it
You
uses
gotta
it.
go
So,
the
yeah, I gotta
other
go down.
way.
Yeah.
Right, so we want to reverse that. So use 400 and see what happens.
Yeah, he put 450 and doesn't quite make it. So,
425. It's a little
all right.
high.
Well, no,
And
because
what does that get to?
that's 1182.
Which would be an
So
increase.
We could use the goal seek function in Excel to do this.
Do the what?
The goal seek function.
Goal seek. Oh, well, by all means, you computer
there's
guys.
a goal seek function. Oh,
Yes,
you got to
right.
teach
Yeah, like
me
we
how to
want,
do that.
like we want to, if we know the number we
We
want
want
to
to get to. It'll
Yeah.
tell us what we have to.
Yeah, sorry about
Right,
that.
your number,
So-
that's your target.
So you
Right,
got,
I get it. It
Let's
goes.
Five-
modify
425.
Well,
that
that's why I
value.
said you
It
go
got
in and modify that value.
435 got to 1171.
So, no, you did didn't you do 445 already?
Oh, right. No, we gotta go
Oh, try 440.
back up.
So 445, 446. No, that's it right there. Basically,
Is what?
440,000 gets us to 1165, which is
Yeah.
basically the rate we are at right now.
Yeah, well, it's 1 penny less, yeah.
Right. But basically, so
Right.
if we do that as
So that's using
441,
440,000 in fund balance. The sewer side is easy, because there is.
right, that's why I figured let's
adequate-
work on this one first, because we've got the fund
there's
balance,
adequate
it'll
fund
make it
balance,
easy.
Yeah,
But I'm still thinking that we probably want to continue our rate increase at a minimum to make sure that we're,
on
Or-
the.
Well,
on
we
the-
haven't had the discussion here of, what our accumulated debt might be, and,
Well, the accumulated debt is here
right,
on these sheets, and if we did everything we want to do on the water side, it's
or on sewer.
well, yeah, I've got that in there. I drafted a warrant article today to see if the DRA would let us do a single warrant article for water and a single warrant article for sewer. Otherwise, we're gonna have 10 bond issues, which I'm also trying to avoid.
that's
The
a lot
water.
of issues. Hoi, hoi, hoi.
Oh, let's see, we want to do the sewer budget. I need a calculator real quick. But we would add substantially to the debt service out over 30 years if we go with USDRD.
Right.
All right, on the sewer side, yep, it's 9 point, that verifies what we said last week, last meeting, 9.475 million on the sewer side. 9.475 million.
That was just capital, or is that O&M included in that?
That's what we would borrow,
That was borrow. Okay.
just borrowing, not operation at all. Yeah, there's 4,700,000 just in Main Street. The B things.
Yeah.
So everything that's red, the 1547,
Yeah, all those would be the
1515,
borrowing
those
items.
are, that's what adds up to that 9 point.
Yes, 9.475.
Ouch.
Yep.
So, big picture question. We have to add, we've got all these priority repairs, and even though I've been here a couple of years, I still don't have a good handle on, what's the next, what's the general status of the remainder of our infrastructure?
That we don't see here?
Yeah, that's not reflected, on this, in this table. I mean, are we seeing
Well-
another wave of,
Hold on a minute.
aged
I'm gonna pull out the
piping?
capital program for us to look at, because that is the answer to the question.
Yeah, if we brought our papers with us from last week.
I did not copy that, but, this is look at 2020.
Right, this gets us out 5 years, and
Right.
so, amongst projects that we've discussed at least,
Yeah,
but, is there, I guess what I'm getting at, is there a wave beyond that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
this goes
yeah.
all the way out to 2023.
Or a large wave beyond that?
Yeah, the master plan goes out 20 years from 2014, so.
the water master plan.
Water master plan, so yeah, there are additional projects for the next 10 to 15 years.
Big
Right.
ones like this, or?
Not as large a magnitude, more smaller $1 million projects here and there.
I know, that's,
Can't believe we're saying it.
I-
Small $1 million projects here and there.
Right, nothing in the magnitude of 3 to 5 million. The only other one that may be around that ballpark would be Highland Street, doing that from Reservoir Road down to
Oik.
the common. And that's something that we're trying to coordinate with the town as well.
Right, because that's still concrete underneath that
Right.
section,
Yep.
or at least half of that section.
Yeah,
And they had notified us that they were planning on doing it this year,
Right.
but then had pulled back from that because
Right.
they had lost grant funding.
Yes.
So we're waiting to hear the status of when they're planning to do that next. But that is in our 10-year plan to do
Right.
that. But that would be really the only other large $3 to $5 million project.
Right. It's precisely because it's been sealed under concrete that it's been sitting as old as it is.
And there's probably,
right.
probably
Yeah.
ledge up there.
There is a lot of ledge.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
And
Yeah.
that's part of the pipe size capacity issue along that corridor as well. So
Mm.
Right, because
that
you
would
can't.
go from 10-inch up to 16-inch along
Wow.
Highland Street.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if we don't keep putting a little bit aside,
Yeah, no, I mean, you can see where my question goes.
Right.
It's, you know, we're
It's-
trying to,
be responsible.
we're trying to balance.
Balance.
Yeah, trying to
He-
get happy
he's
medium here
literally-
and with a long-term picture, which is hard to do. And it, this is
Here's what's driving these groupings, and you know this, but I'll say it for folks that might be watching. The USDA-RD encouraged us to actually bundle things together so that we had a larger sum to borrow, and they would be able to give us a bigger grant amount and make us eligible for their low interest loans. We
And
we
for
also,
the grants.
yeah, and the grants. We also need to hit a target medium household income in Plymouth, and we've also fooled around with that. Jason did a spreadsheet to show you what that impact is, but I don't want to get into those weeds right now. But just we didn't intend to borrow enough money on Foster Street to make us eligible. So they encouraged us, and Jason worked with Mike to bundle together 5 projects in water and 5 projects in sewer.
Right, so
Um,
we can,
And the other thing is Main Street timing, to get that in sync with our,
number of possible scenarios.
yeah. On the water side, it's the new well project, which is the big one, plus the water line replacements. You know, and if the district can permit and build a new water source that's got better quality water and can pump almost as much as these 2 wells here on Foster Street, that will be a huge boon for the district users over the next 50 or 60 years.
Or more, yeah.
right, or more, hopefully. I mean, we've had these wells forever.
60 years, yeah, or even
Yeah.
before that. But, I mean, there's a huge cost associated with drilling and permitting, as you know, plus if things go well,
Then we have the
Then
pump
we
station
intend to-
and the piping.
the
and-
pump station and the piping to come across to join our infrastructure over here. So, I mean, those are the 2 sort of driving forces. USDA, when we met with them a couple of weeks ago, they were very pleased that we listened, and they don't think there's a lot of competition for their monies this year. And they also want to take their monies and parlay or leverage them, I guess is a better way
Yeah.
to say it, with the state revolving loan fund and the MTBE trust fund to, you know, either get us more money. You know, they could be 12% loan forgiveness.
Oh,
They
that
could
would
be
be
at
awesome.
least a 25% grant from USDA-RD. Could be more, probably won't be 45%, but, you know, they recognize it might be higher than 25 without promising us anything.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
We're showing a need
right,
now that we
right.
need this money that's available. Also, the interest rates are historically low still,
Right,
so that's another driving factor.
Yeah.
I mean, this is ironic, and I don't think our users would understand this thinking, but USDA-RD basically looks at our water rates and says, you don't need our money, it's too low.
You could raise the rates,
you're
right,
not needy enough.
right.
So,
By saying we've got millions of dollars worth of projects to spend, we appear more needy than we actually
yeah, and
are.
not that we appear more needy. We
We
actually,
are
I mean,
needy.
it's because we haven't done these projects that we really do need to.
Right.
Yes.
It's just that it drives the rates up, and, you know,
Well,
Okay.
I hope the residents of Plymouth appreciate that we have put off a lot of these projects far too long, and we
Right.
need to,
You know, we need to do them, and,
we're doing work that really absolutely has to be done.
they're necessary and inevitable,
right,
one way or the other, and best to do them before they leak.
yeah,
That's my
because we
experience.
don't wanna,
My small
Right,
experience with
that's
that.
the other thing with part of asset management, we want to maintain a level of service to avoid conflicts and leaks and breaks and things like that. So knock on wood, we've been very fortunate the last few years not to
Yeah.
have any large catastrophic events, but who's to say that something could happen in the near future?
right,
We don't know, it's just a matter of time.
no,
We
keep
wanna-
knocking
We
on
want to
wood.
do everything we can to avoid any significant breaks or costs incurred because of that stuff.
Yep.
This is positioning us with USDARD and the others. These are, if you put them in the budget and we decide to go forward, you can always yank them out of the budget. Once we get to the bond hearings, you can listen to feedback from folks, and
Right,
even if they're approved through a 2/3 vote at a bond issue meeting, doesn't mean we have to do it.
Right.
You get to decide each step of the
Right.
way. You know, and we've been fortunate in recently that some of our estimates have come in less than we put in budgets. So
well, that's good.
if that holds true, you know, we could be,
Only some of them.
yeah, that's true too, the septic. I didn't mean to bring that up. Not the
Yeah,
septic.
only some of them. All right, so what do we think for sewer? It's at 11.66 now. We went up 5 cents last year, from last year to this year. Make it an even 11.70.
Well, I'm looking at our, I mean,
We don't want to do any more of these 7.6, 51.7% increases. I mean, that's stupid. That's when we weren't planning ahead.
right, well, I mean, I think I could, I don't think a rate of a percentage increase around inflation is, I don't think that's unreasonable. So something around 2% seems like more of a target percent increase I would consider, rather than 0.5%.
So what's a 2% increase on 11.66?
Well, that's going to be more than 5 cents. It's going to be more like 23 cents.
Yeah, it's gonna bring it closer to $12.
23 cents,
Yeah.
yep, 23.3.
Mm-hmm.
That's my 2 cents.
That's your two,
That's your 2%.
2%. And, well, and 1% would be half of that,
Yeah.
just about.
So that would make it 11.88. 23 cents more.
11.89.
89, yeah.
Oh, you know,
That's a suggestion. Doesn't have to be that, but it seems, you know, a small percentage increase.
I'm just keeping taxes in the back of my head.
Yes.
And I'm not playing devil's advocate, I just want to say this out loud. On the sewer side, we have a $1.6 million fund balance,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're using even less of it.
Right, because we had the wrong number in there.
So we would leave, yeah. That's on me, Judy. That's on me.
Like, I'm so confused.
Yeah, no, you sorted it right out. We didn't pay attention to the non-functioning column, sorry. But,
Well, maybe
Why
maybe
did
we're
you-
on a trajectory for handling our debt that does not require a,
So there's a couple things we could do with that fund balance, and you just reminded me. We have, the other reason I wanted to bring the debt service along is because one strategy, rather than to fund our projects, if we borrow, we might be able to leverage the money, these projects and then going forward. We could take some of the sewer fund balance
And just pay for projects outright.
and, no, because then we don't get to leverage.
Oh, that's right, we could pay off,
Pay off some debt.
but I didn't think we could. I
It's
thought
on
we
the-
were,
No, on the water side, we need to be higher. On the sewer side, we're fine.
no, that's not what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
What I'm gonna say is, I thought our
Some-
treasurer had
yes.
looked into paying off these, and some of them we can't.
yeah,
Well, the
I have a
USDA
memory of
ID
that
ones
as
we
well.
can. There's no penalty for paying off the USDA ones. We can,
Okay.
look at the list. We can pick, make sure I'm on the right side. And I was looking at the higher interest rate ones. You know, I did something in my
Yeah, I
head.
thought anything that was the bond bank, we can't.
Maybe the bond bank, but we've got USDA,
At
yeah,
5%.
we've got MVSB at 3.83. They'll let us pay off early.
Okay.
We've got several MVSB small ones.
Well, I
And the
guess we have
USDA
to figure out if the interest rate saved by paying those off, is the interest saved?
Not only is the interest saved, but also that keeps our debt service from running up too high on the sewer side.
That's true.
I mean, the fund balance
So if we,
shouldn't just sit there. We want to have a healthy fund balance, but our fund balance has been increasing.
all right, so if we drop fund balance, let's say, so that we can pay off the, like $100,000
Yeah, oh,
of,
yeah, I was thinking $1 million.
well, where are we gonna get to $1 million?
Well, this is something I think that we will have to, I'll have to look at the.
I'm not sure how we get to $1 million with paying off these smaller loans. I mean,
Right, I'm thinking of, let's pay off the high interest ones, the
$1
SCADA.
million?
I think,
The other day,
we had a note in there that was said, use $1 million, but still retain $1 million.
So we've got 2.6. We've got 2.6 million. We're only using 440,000. That leaves us 2.2 million. We could use $1 million. This was just last week we did this. I can't believe it. Oh, the week before Thanksgiving, I guess. We
Oh,
could.
hence the note right there in black and white that I can see that says, use fund balance to pay down debt.
Yeah.
Heck, I can read. Well,
Tried to-
Did I redeem myself? So.
They put it right in front of you.
right in front of me, it's right
No,
there.
I think on one of these sheets, I just put some X's on.
And then
ones
there was,
Ones we could, I mean, that's a discussion, and that's a discussion to
Yep.
have with the treasurer. Which ones,
right, which ones
you
can
know,
we pay off?
I think what I X'd was the first 4, and then the second to the last one. But if we can't pay off the bond bank one, so skip those, and we pay off a USDA RD one.
Yeah, I'm thinking if we do the first 3, I mean, granted, the stupid USDA one, that's 88,
No
58.
No stupid.
But it's 5% interest, but you know what
Exactly.
I mean?
Yeah,
If we
no.
pay those 3 and then get rid of the SCADA one and the Woodsville one
Woodsville,
is
that's,
minimum 2.
well, no, that's interim financing. That's
Oh,
gonna.
okay, so we
show-
can't do that one.
Show its real self. I think that use of fund balance for this purpose needs to go into a warrant article. I just did that quick think through.
Okay.
So we don't have to decide tonight?
Yeah, but we have to, yes, we don't have to decide tonight, but we have to decide prior to setting the rates if we have to,
You just have to decide what part of the fund balance you want to use to offset the rates. That sets the rates. And then paying down the fund balance, just, it's a vote, and then check goes to
that
the
just,
bank. Yeah.
just pays off the,
Right,
okay.
apart from the rates.
I'm having a
So
hard
we've got-
time with going up
so we-
2%. I'd
Yeah, well,
rather
that's
see it
no-
go
no-
1%.
No, I'm fine with it. you know,
See-
it is good, it is proper to have a good cushion of money around, but having money sitting around, too much money sitting around doing nothing is also.
Right, it's not.
Not good for
gonna
the
help us.
ratepayers. I mean,
Right.
you do wanna have a healthy reserve in case something
Right, in
happens.
case
Yes.
something happens. Yeah, we
But if
don't,
you're a ratepayer, you're
right,
thinking, and actually, we were, when we, you know, did the draft math, you know, the
Yeah.
scenarios the other day, even though we had the wrong number, the 1079, which was an old number,
Yeah.
we did try to hit it, no increase.
right,
So then, use a small portion of the fund balance and use some, whatever everybody's pleasure is, to pay off some of the debt service. That's
so, and
one
the
way-
question becomes, is it more important to pay off the debt service so that we don't have all this debt piling up later on when it's really gonna affect the rates?
Yeah,
Or,
because we, you know, another use of fund balance is to fund projects, but if we're gonna get 25% grant and 12% loan forgiveness, we're not
Right.
gonna do it by funding it ourselves, we've gotta borrow for it.
right, exactly.
So,
What happens if you change that to 400,000? What does that go to? Just so I can see numbers in black and white, because that's how my brain works. Ooh, too much. Okay.
do you like this? At least,
I like this. This is really
Real
fun.
it's
time.
like, almost like having Josh.
420. What did we do at 425, Jason?
425.
Yes, sir. Okay, that's what you were suggesting.
Is what?
Dropping from 440 to 425, which brings us up to 1182. And I'm happier at 1177. But, you know, like, I'd like to see 1% rather than 2, but
Yeah, that's, I see the wisdom in this alternate view of things here. And my quick math here suggests about 900,000 in. right,
Yeah, I mean, that, we can.
Yeah,
we
the
can-
low nines,
yeah, as long
For
as we skip
those-
the 3 bond bank ones.
right, no, yeah, that would be 5 of those.
Because
Yeah.
we're about to take
Irrespective
on
of
9 million.
Yeah, the
Right.
1.2 million we obviously
Right.
can't pay off.
We don't deal in small numbers here.
No,
It's
we
just as
don't.
amazing to
No,
me
we
to think that
don't.
we're sitting here going,
And this also,
Spend
I
$1
mean,
million.
I said this to Jason when we were working on this. These projects may take us 3 or 5 years, so
Right.
I would say in the next,
Right, it's not all gonna get
Close
borrowed
for-
next
right,
year,
it's not all
essentially.
gonna get borrowed next year,
Right.
exactly.
yeah, in the next foreseeable, we won't be taking on more because we'll be working through these projects. It's just a matter, we've been driven to lump them because of the financing
Right.
advantage. Because otherwise we would pick through.
Mm-hmm.
What if you make it 430?
What if, now, do you feel it's important to have a rate increase in sewer, just to keep people on that
Yeah,
trajectory?
Yeah, I think a slight one. I mean,
Yeah.
all of our costs, I mean, costs keep rising, so I just feel like, you know, that helps avoid a situation where we've had these crazy,
yeah, 51%
crazy jumps.
increases,
You know, I don't wanna
35%
preside
increases, we
over
don't wanna do
something-
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't wanna, I mean, that is, to me, is poor long-term planning and,
Right,
yeah.
so if we do 430, that brings us to 1%.
430?
From, yeah, fund balance 430. And that
then-
brings the rate to 1177, which is 1% basically.
Yep. 11 cents.
Yep, which is right,
Well, 12 cents would be.
right. But,
Whatever it comes out to.
I mean,
Okay,
that's
so-
good enough, right?
Yes.
All right. You know, that's the easy, I mean, they're weighty decisions, but it's easy because we've got leeway.
Mm-hmm.
In water, there's not a whole lot of leeway.
Yeah.
Let's talk water
Let's
then.
talk water.
So the, I think I put in the email, the debt service went from, it went up about $124,000, if I remember correctly. And that's this year's.
You know, it's like 83, now it's
83, and now it's 124, 224.
right?
So like $120,000, something like that.
How much do we have in fund balance here?
We have in water fund balance, we have 639,000.
Oh, yeah,
It's much tighter.
that is much tighter.
Yeah.
Okay, and Jason, just FYI,
Sure.
our current rates are 660, not 655.
That's on me, Judy.
That's okay, I mean, if we're gonna
Just
do
open
it,
it up.
it's
Yeah.
good to have the numbers right.
Yeah. What did you call those? In column B, what did you say? They were what? Functioning?
Oh, calculated values, I thought I said.
Calculated values,
Yeah,
yeah, I
that's
like
right.
that.
Okay, so,
As opposed to mere labels.
Yes, got it. These are just labels. All right.
so,
I
so,
want to talk the lingo.
so we have to,
So if we use 400 of the 639, it would leave us 239, and it would get us to a rate of 848.
yeah, wait.
And the only, I mean, you can't take out the borrowing projects, because that doesn't do us any good at all with rates for next year, because it's money in, money out. When the year after you borrow, it's all a wash. The money gets bonded, you spend it, nothing on the rates.
What if
It's the
we,
debt service that will come the following year.
what if we raise the minimum? I
Yeah,
hate to
yeah.
do that, but we might
Well, we
have to
haven't
raise the
raised it.
minimum to 40.
Yeah, and we haven't raised it for a while, the minimum. Well, I guess we did $9. Yeah, we did, a couple of years ago. Yeah, we went,
$9?
yeah, we raised both sides $9 a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I remember doing that.
So the minimum is at
Yeah, it'd be kind of nice. Oh,
$39.57.
What happens if you jump the minimum to
it'd
40?
be kind of nice to have, I mean, this is
Good try.
a very handy chart. It'd be kind of nice to have what the historical minimum charge was. as
Doesn't
another-
do
Not much.
No. You'll,
The
yeah,
historic minimum, yeah. I don't have it.
Yeah. I
I mean, Kim might have some, but this is what.
I understand
Yeah.
it's a lot of work to assemble that, but,
No, I don't, only if we have the data.
Right.
We can assemble it easily.
right. Throw in some additional
45.
column.
yeah, the difference is the, see the
Yeah.
gallons billed minimum versus the total gallons billed is, that's where your minimum is not gonna affect the,
Would you do 45 for that?
sure.
Yeah, the minimum doesn't generate that much,
Oh, good lord. Yeah, it
that
really
much
doesn't.
dollars. It's the larger users
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that really moves the money. I mean, you have to raise the minimum.
Unfortunately, we do. Everybody is sharing in the costs, so we do kind of have to raise the minimum a little bit
Yeah.
because everybody is using the water.
I
Everybody
thought
is
like
using the
30%
sewer.
of the people, is it something like 30% hit only the pay only the minimum?
No, I just asked him.
Yeah, you just,
200 and something, 220 or
Oh,
270.
like one quarter.
Quarter.
Yeah,
Quarter.
it's- So, I mean, I know it's not going to be a huge impact, and then that still leaves the rate above a,
If we raise the minimum, we'll pay off more of the debt, which I think, I don't know if that, what that was based on, Judy. in
no,
the
no.
past.
It's raising the minimum so we don't have to raise the per 1,000 gallon
No,
quite
no, but I mean-
so
A marginal.
much.
Somebody told me, Kim or Carol Kennison, that the board or the district had, at least in the past, tried to have the minimum pay off the debt service. But that's not based on anything. I mean, if you have a small debt service, you can keep the rate really low. If you're
Right.
starting to increase.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think there's any
Yeah,
relationship to it.
and I
But
wasn't,
see how they, this calculation is based on trying to get the minimum to pay the debt service, and then you do the over or under. You either add it,
right, I get that, but at some point in
you
time,
don't even need that calculation anymore, really.
right, at some point in time, unfortunately, you've got to say that everybody is going to be benefiting from these projects.
Yeah, sure.
So everybody should be paying some part of that. But it still needs to be low enough so that people can absorb it.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a $30 increase on the minimum to cover that whole thing and keep the rate of above the 1,000, above the 5,000 gallons at the same.
No, right.
What I'm saying is that minimum should go up a little bit.
And don't forget, everyone pays the minimum.
That's what I mean.
Right.
Everybody's paying the minimum, so
Right.
everybody is sharing in that.
Yep.
And then the people who are using more water have that higher rate going on. But, I mean,
Right. Sorry, you
ahead.
gotta kind of look at it too. What type of structure do you want? Do you want the minimum per 5,000 to equal what each 1,000 is over that? That would be fit and fair to large users and small users. If your minimum per 5,000 was higher than your
right.
your per 1,000 rate, then you're hitting your smaller users.
Right, that's why I'm saying that shouldn't go up as much.
Right, so we kind of got to figure out what type of
where's the
rate
happy
structure we
medium
want.
we want.
Right.
And I mean, there has been talk a lot. We've discussed this every year we do this, is doing a tiered rate for those people who use X amount of water for, 0 to 20,000 gallons, they pay this amount. People who use 20,000 to 40,000 gallons, they pay this amount. Over, 40 to 80,000, they pay this amount, and over 80,000, they pay that amount. And there's a tiered rate. Is that fair? Don't know. It is another way to look at
Everybody that
it.
uses over 5,000 gallons now per quarter is paying $6.60 per 1,000 over that.
Right,
And-
Well,
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying is we had talked about doing not just
I've never heard that,
5,000.
But you probably talked about it in the
We've
past.
talked about it many times.
I'm sure you have, but
Wow. Well, I mean, that starts to, it starts to go off into tangents about the nature of your users. If
Well,
every,
this is
if
Jason
ev- if-
saying, what kind of rate structure do we want?
Right, if everybody were a residential user having a 5,000 base rate and then a marginal rate, encourages people to conserve water, on some level.
Right,
But there are some of our customers who just simply are never going to be, they, by their nature, they need 15,000
we
Yeah,
have
gallons
a
of
right.
water.
couple of very large,
right.
one significantly
Right,
large
and is
user
it-
who is bearing the lion's share of the cost for.
Right, and that's what I was gonna say. Is it fair, in quotes, to do it that way? Or to have this tiered structure so that,
I think having a tiered structure, people are gonna go in and out of it, I think.
yeah, I can't
I'm not
imagine
sure
what
we're gonna-
calculation nightmare it would be.
Just to give you an idea that, general residential usage of about 200 gallons a day comes out to about $18,200 per quarter. So
Usually
if-
doesn't,
200
Gallons.
gallons per quarter.
Yes.
Yeah. So just to give you an idea of what a typical usage would be or gallonage. per
And so how
quarter.
much does that cost a
Well,
person?
We can go to my Excel sheet if you want. I can,
The income?
yeah, because I have the
Yeah, do
actual
that. Yeah,
example of
sure,
gallons.
no,
Sure,
do it.
definitely.
I think, we only have 1,000 or 11.
Yeah, we have
customers.
1,024
So I think
customers.
we'd be looking at complicating ourselves
Yeah.
if we started to do a tiered system.
Yeah, I'm just saying it was something that
Yeah,
had
no,
been
no, I think
talked
it's-
about,
yeah.
and, Jason's question is very thoughtful. What kind of rate structure do we want? Do we want something very basic like this? Do we want a rate structure that is going to impact the larger users larger? Do we want a rate structure that is even all the way across the board? What do we want?
Yeah,
So, it comes down to figuring out what's
Right.
fair and equitable.
yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
we do have some elderly folks that use the less than, and I think they're very happy and comfortable with being under the 5,000.
Right.
There's a service going on there.
Right.
For folks, they don't use a lot,
Yeah.
they don't demand a lot from us.
Well, that was why years ago we changed it from the minimum being 10,000 to the minimum of being 5,000.
Okay.
Because we had so many people who weren't even coming close to using the 10,000 every
Right.
quarter.
Yeah, right.
And so they were bearing the brunt of subsidizing people who were using more. And we didn't want that.
My vote, and I might be echoing Kim here, is to keep it simple and,
That is my inclination.
Oh, yeah, I'm
You
not
know,
saying
yeah,
to
no, I'm
muck
just-
up the works at all.
I
I'm just
like having
saying
a
it's,
discussion, it's good.
that's right. This is all just throwing ideas out on the table and chucking them off as we don't like them.
So I put together a spreadsheet here,
What's
calling
that,
it
yeah?
the Plymouth Village Affordability Management Tool.
I like it.
And I used a base rate of 197.25 gallons per day of usage.
Because that's based on a study,
Which
so.
is based on the 2015 New Hampshire rate
You
study.
guys looking at it?
And this kind of gives you an idea. You can plug in both the base rate and the per thousand rate to give you a total, financial picture overall what it's going to come out to be per quarter for an average user.
Okay.
And in taking that into consideration, we looked at the median household income for both water and sewer. Water median household income was a little lower than sewer because we have a smaller subset of customers than
Right.
sewer customers.
And also, let me just interject one thing,
Yeah.
Jason, sorry to stop your momentum. To get to the medium household income, we have to do the inside the compact and outside the compact, and then do a weighted averaging.
Okay, so
So-
customers versus non-customers and weight all the average, basically?
Yeah, no, it's not customers versus non, it's where they set the geography for, this is a USDA. or it's,
Okay, they're,
Is it them?
It's a
Census, it's a
census,
census thing, so you could be outside and still in the district. You could be outside the compact and have a
What
higher
is a
salary
compact?
of, 43 or 46,000.
what do you
Define
mean by
compact.
compact?
It's a geographical area, which all I can tell you is we went to the website and there's the
Oh,
the
so-
average,
Oh, so this
the
is-
average inside the compact is 30-something thousand income, and outside the compact is 43 or 46. So they take a blended for us, and that's what helps make us eligible or not.
Right, because that's pretty
For the-
low.
Yeah, these are
I
the
need to
actual
complicate
numbers.
things.
These are the actual numbers that USDA uses in their
Okay.
calculation.
Right.
So
Yeah,
we
but-
have
Yeah.
to basically stick with these numbers
Yeah,
because
well,
that's
to
what.
get, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we can put in whatever rates we want to put into this calculator, but if you look on line 13, that's our current rate. So it's essentially $124.39 for water for an average residential customer, and $201.73 for a sewer user.
For the minimum people? Well, that's
For,
average.
for average, so
Average,
that's
okay.
that's taking usage of 197 gallons a day,
Okay.
which includes the minimum and some of the
Right, so if
A little
you,
bit, yes.
yeah.
if you were to go up to line 6 and change that to 45, which will adjust I just picked 45 out of the hat, and that adjusted that bottom number to per 1,000 gallon was 840 something from the other page, Jason, we looked at what that was.
Oh, 848?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't 848, it dropped it down to like 842 or something.
Was it?
Yeah. From the other spreadsheet.
So that's about a $30 increase for an average user per quarter.
Oik. And the way you had it set before, it was actually lower, an increase. It was 149 rather than 154.
Right, so we go back to 39.57.
Yeah. And then it was 848 in your,
Yeah.
wow. So raising the minimum doesn't really help
Right.
Not much.
much at
No,
all.
No, it doesn't generate the money that the over 5,000 does.
Right, because I thought, even if you up that 0 to 5 to $40 rather than 8, rather than 39.57, I'm just literally fooling around with numbers.
Yeah,
Yep.
rounded it up to 40.
What does that do to?
So that was 149.38, and that, sorry, that went to 149.81.
Yeah.
So it's really,
It's negligible. I
Right.
mean, it's just not even,
Fraction of.
Yeah.
right, it's
So
not even worth,
Right, we don't, I mean,
yeah.
That's why I like looking at this, like, you know, kind of real
Yeah,
numbers. You
it's
can
not-
see if
You know,
what
when
the
you look
base
at what the
versus
impact
over
is gonna
does.
be. And our current right now is 124. And that's just water.
yeah,
And if you
Sewers.
look on note, line 10 too, USDA RD wants to see a minimum of 1.5% of the MHI to maintain eligibility. So that's why water, we were actually low this year. That's why we didn't get the loan and grant portion. We were only 1.26%.
Got it.
So that's
we
where
could
they're
have gotten the loan,
calculating.
not the grant,
Right.
yeah. And that's why,
That's that,
oddly and weirdly, it's better to have more, you know, more debt service.
it's crazy.
Higher rates, higher
Yeah.
rates in water,
Yeah.
so that we become eligible.
So really that 149.81, that would really only put us at 1.51%, which is just over their minimum for eligibility on the water side.
How much does that hurt us though?
What type of percent increase are we talking about on the water?
29.
It's
29.
29%. Go from 660. You mean,
Yeah, from
Yes,
660
660
to
to
848 is almost 30%.
Right.
That was at 39.57 base.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's, yeah, about $25.
39.57, yeah. And that's using 400,000 in fund balance, which only leaves us 239,000 in water, so.
Yeah, that's just
I
a
mean,
killer.
one thing that we probably want to strengthen the fund balance on the water side, so that when we're having these discussions, we do have the same kind of flexibility. And it's hard to do while we're funding projects, you know.
Right, because this is not gonna build up our fund balance at all. We're just doing this just to like break even.
All right, so that's going to bring me to my question, question, which is,
What happens
what do we look
next
at? What happens
Well,
next year?
Yeah,
When we-
go
when
back
we-
What
to
can
that
we say?
other,
When we finish the budget, I'll know more. When we finish December, what was unspent
right.
will go into fund balance.
Right now, what is it looking like? Do we know?
No, because our projects aren't finished
Right,
yet, so you can't,
yeah.
I mean, it's,
I just was wondering if we
We'd have
crap
to-
out all those projects.
no, I
what
will do
we're-
that over the next several weeks.
Okay.
Of course, we have to,
So
but.
Jason, could you go back to that other sheet where
Sure.
it shows
And
using
let-
that fund
let me just-
balance?
The only thing that we could cut out of the budgets, or maybe out of the water budget, is, money that we aim to deposit into capital reserve, because that's a straight
How did we get
cost,
down to 825?
Judy.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got several items of appropriation that would put money into capital reserve, which I'm not recommending we don't do it, but it's the only thing that, it applies to the rates. The borrowing
Right,
doesn't.
right,
It's a
right.
straight appropriation, you know, along with labor.
Yeah, and we
everything
don't
else,
want to
but-
cut ourselves short for
No, you don't want to cut yourself
funding for
short.
projects, because then you just have to borrow more.
Yep, and we've
You know, it
got,
just doesn't,
we've got, probably 200, a little more than 200,000 going in.
Jason, leave
100,
it at 45
Okay.
and
Almost 200,000.
deduct from the fund balance to bring us back to around 850.
You could reduce the amounts going in and still put some in.
Oik.
I
That
mean,
doesn't change much, does it? I'm listening.
Yeah, I mean, see, there's
Okay.
almost 200,000 going in, I mean, in the proposed budget going into
Right.
capital reserve. 75,000 for the water storage tank replace.
Yeah, but we know that that's coming.
Yeah.
We know that's coming.
I'm not saying we do this, I'm just saying, I'm just pointing out that it's a
Right.
direct it's gonna be a direct relation to what we
Right.
appropriate and therefore the rates. So if we know and we acknowledge that's what we're doing, then that's fine with me. I'm a borrower, I'm a saver before you spend, and not, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't wanna cut off my nose or Jason's
Right, that's,
to spite
you know, a
others.
huge function of what's available for grant funding as well.
Yeah.
You know, USDA told us 2019 and beyond, they're not sure what
Right.
it's gonna look like.
Right.
So, you know, they have the picture now of what's available. So that's the thing is, yes, in the future, if the grant funding's not there, it wouldn't be responsible to borrow in that manner.
No.
It would be more responsible to save,
Yeah.
and pay off.
Right.
But right now, we're in a situation where
Where
we
borrowing
can
is
leverage
good, right.
the financial, the interest rates are low and the grant funding's available, so.
The project need is high.
So Jason, if you go back to that other sheet
Sure, so we want to do 45.
and 851.
You toggling this. 41 and,
I'm trying to bring the minimum up a little bit and see if we can still use fund balance to keep it around that 850 figure, you know, the 848
Yep.
figure.
gotcha.
And it brings us up a little bit more in the percentage for water. It brings us up at 1.57 rather than 1.51.
Yeah,
But it just like went up $35 for average per person.
I just wanted to make everyone aware too, just for comparison, line 29 there. At a penny a gallon, you know, the average user at 197.25 gallons a day, quarterly rate is about $179.50. So this water rate is still cheaper than a penny a gallon, if you think about it, in the grand scheme of things.
Right, but the bill is
Yeah,
still
but the bill is
Right.
still the bill.
Right.
You know, when it comes in the mail, you go, I don't think I used that much water this month, you know, or this quarter. So, you know, I hate to do this too, but one of the things we also have are the fixed rate ones for the places that aren't metered.
Yeah,
Have we looked at adjusting those rates at all, ever?
not that I know of.
not since.
We talked about it in the rules and regulations update.
We did talk about
Right.
the rules and regulations, yeah, but we haven't.
Well, that is something to consider
Want
as
to go see
well.
what those are?
It's not gonna bring in that much money, Mel, I'm just saying that, you
What is
know,
that,
it's,
dozens of people, or is it, I mean,
it's dozens of people, it's not hundreds of people.
right.
But the thing about it is if we're gonna do this to our base, everybody should contribute.
Right, yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
right, I mean, that would be a,
It's
Stone left
piddly,
on.
right, but it's, I mean, we're talking pebbles in an ocean. This is not,
Unmetered for water is 8704. What is that, annual?
No, that's gotta be quarterly.
Yep.
Quarterly rates, 8704. How many do we have? That's what we don't know here. Not too many, I don't
so,
think.
no, it's not, and it's 50% of what an average user would be paying, basically.
yeah, right, I mean, that's a bargain. Right,
Yeah,
and that's
so some-
reflective of
Yeah, because
another
we
era.
haven't, as far as
Right,
I know, we haven't upped these at
So,
all
I mean,
since 3 years
I-
anyway.
what my
It's been
thinking
longer than
is,
that.
Yeah,
and my thinking is that if we're talking about raising the rates for everyone, then that should be everyone. You know what I mean?
Well, I
Just a
mean,
minute.
perhaps,
Oh, wait,
hold
hold
that
the
line.
thought.
Unmetered for water, $80.05 and 15, and 86.34.
Oh, so we have gone up.
Yeah, I wonder if, I mean, the board hasn't made a decision, so I think Kim may just apply the percentage up.
Oh,
And
okay.
currently, it's at 87.04, but in 15, it was at 80.05, so we have increased it.
Okay.
But what
What's it based on?
percentile, you know, does that, I mean, you know, that payment reflects a very low percentile of usage.
Yes.
So, you know, they might be in the bottom 10% of all users is, I mean, if you look at that on a gallon basis. So, I mean, it seems like it's just disproportionately low.
Yeah, I think what we had proposed in the regulations rewrite was to base the unmetered on the average per quarter usage.
You're 197 and 2.25 gallons
Right, plus,
per day.
plus 25% surcharge on that is what we had proposed.
Yeah, it seems to me like there ought to be some type of an incentive to go to the meter. I mean, I realize that's not.
Right, it's not conducive for everyone. We have some customers that are, say, metered for sewer, and they're on their own wells, and the wells are very sandy, so our meters get clogged
Yeah,
up.
they can't, right.
So having a meter in, we'd be there every other day,
Right.
cleaning it out and changing it, and it's not reading, and so there are some people that just.
You just can't.
Can't, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there are very many of them.
No, there's
I've
not.
talked to one person in particular, and it's sometimes it's houses wrapped around mobile homes, and
Yeah.
it's not easy to get to make those conversions.
Right.
I certainly recognize that, but
So,
Why
I've been
should-
doing a lot of talking. What's your thoughts?
It's all right, Judy, it's good.
well, I mean, I guess it should be more in line with what we think an average user is. I mean, that seems to me like the rate should be more in line with what an average user pays.
Yeah.
I mean, especially, and only 30% of the people are paying are at the minimum.
25 really.
25%
Yeah.
are at the minimum.
Yeah.
So those people are paying a lot less than even the bottom quarter.
Yep. So are you talking about raising the minimum more than
Where are you at now?
I just went up $6.
No, I was talking strictly about the unmetered.
Oh,
Well, we need to have both conversations. So how much do you think they should go up? What's the average? What would be the average use number?
Based on Judy's numbers here, $45 base rate and $851 per thousand. It was $155.20 per quarter.
It's almost double.
So that's double,
that's-
double for the unmetered people.
that's what I said. They're paying 50% of
Yeah.
the,
Yeah,
With the
in
average.
quotes,
Yeah.
yeah, but this is
average
100%
user.
increase.
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not suggesting you do that. I'm just,
I mean,
No,
that maybe wants to be a gradual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, yes.
no, and what I was thinking was, do we want to raise the minimum more
Well,
than
right, let's do,
$6?
could we just do one at a time? Just because I'm like,
Well, if we raise
let's-
this a certain percentage, then that goes up that percentage. Right?
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's what Kim does. She just raises it based on the percentage up.
Right, but that's keeping the percentage difference, it's getting to be a wider gap.
Yeah, but that. if
So
you-
that needs to come up more.
Yeah,
Right, and that's what's,
Yeah,
like I
good
said,
point.
we had proposed in the regulations rewrite is to base it off of the average per quarter usage
plus
25%
So that's
surcharge.
more
Okay.
than 155.20.
Right,
What's that? The 25% more would be, go get my good eraser.
Oh, 1 times 1.25 actually.
194.
So it's at 87 now. Do you want to bring it up to the halfway point is about 155.
Well, I mean, it's,
Yeah, I mean, and if you do it with the surcharge,
I mean, we can phase it in over agree to phase it in over some number of years.
right,
I mean, do it 25% a year for 4 years.
right,
That's,
Yeah.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
go up to 110.
Yeah, we did
yeah,
a usage study looking at some of the university, just based on per student use. And a single person, a university student, was using on average, about 30 gallons per day per person. So, think about the
87.
$87 per quarter. That's significantly less than the 197
Right.
gallons per day for residential.
197 divided by 2 is...
194.
Well, 194 divided by 2 is 97. So if you bring it up to 100 or 105,
110, I said.
Yeah.
okay,
It's round.
it's round.
197 gallons a day is a lot.
That's a lot of water. I just can't even imagine how much water that is.
Yeah, single family household is generally uses about 400 gallons a day on average.
The people, the breeders.
You know, even all of our livestock, we are slightly over that minimum, but
Well, plus you're probably really, really conscientious. You know, how many people do you know that do the dishes with the water on and brush their teeth with just the water just going through?
Yeah.
yeah.
I never do that.
suppose.
And I'm on a well, but, you know, a lot of people I know just run the water
Right.
without thinking.
Hmm.
All right, we'll move the unmetered up to 110. Where are we now with the base rate?
I hope with some explanation that, you know, this,
Equity.
yeah,
I mean, that'll come out in the hearing.
right. Or insert into those people's bill and saying,
And I just pulled $45 out of the hat. I mean, I don't know what we want to make the base
The base rate?
It was $39.57, and I brought it up to 45 just because that was a nice round number, but that's no
well,
reason.
well, I mean, percentage wise, that's,
Not even.
So if you look at that, what I just did, I did 851 times 5, which
Wait
would
a
be,
minute, I don't see, I can't see the screen, so where, are you looking at the MDI?
Yeah.
yep,
Okay.
so Judy had said she'd like to see $45
Yeah.
I just
for base
picked a
rate,
number,
and-
like I said.
and then that brought the per thousand to 851. So I just did $8.51 times 5, which would give us the per 5,000 gallon rate to compare the per thousand value to the base value, and it's actually lower, slightly lower than the per 5,000 level, which you know,
Does that mean the per 5,000 level is paying more than their fair share or less than their fair share?
that means the base rate is paying more than their fair share in this scenario.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we should raise the base rate to $43 rather than $45, basically is what you're telling me.
And we could see what
Yeah,
it
go
comes
back
out
to
to
that
be,
other spreadsheet and
Yeah.
see what horribleness that does there.
which I don't think it would do much, because
No,
I don't think the
'cause-
per thousand is gonna increase as greatly.
Well, remember, I dropped the amount from fund balance too.
Right. So
In water?
Yep.
Ooh, okay.
we're really playing around here tonight.
That's
I'm
all right,
having
we
fun.
should do that because
Yeah.
we mostly
All
don't.
right, so if you
this
do
is
that to 43,
Due diligence.
that brings us back to where we were at 858. And dropping the fund balance by a whopping $25,000.
So 375 in there?
Yeah.
So if we go back,
I don't want to write anything down until we finish.
No, definitely don't write anything down. It was 43 and that was 859.
even in pencil.
Well, you know why? They make erasers that don't, I have some white ones on my desk that work better, otherwise you smear. Is
Yes.
that because we don't go through our pencils as fast?
Right, it's the racers get
When
hard.
you were a kid, you used it all up fast?
42.95, so that's pretty close.
That makes it very equitable then.
Yeah.
All right, 42.95.
And that brings us back to the 858.
And then,
Well,
and
859.
then the, over the base is 850?
No, it would be 43 even for the 5,000,
Okay.
and then it'd be 859 per thousand.
So that's like about a 12% increase on the base, I think.
From 3957.
Jason, did you go back to the other spreadsheet?
No, it's 43.
The
I know.
rate spreadsheet to do that?
Yep, I went back to the rate spreadsheet and
So
Oops.
did you
Yeah, you love
add
it.
in a different number for
So
debt service, in other words?
8.5%.
So you've got 49,000 there, see?
Judy
That's not-
wanted.
No, listen to me.
Oh, sure.
The
think that's-
the
I think it's better to keep
62,840 debt service now is
the base
48,
down.
because you've raised more money,
At 43.
right?
Yeah, I agree.
So remember how the
Okay, yeah,
formula works?
yeah.
You've raised more money in the minimum, reducing the shortfall in the debt
Correct.
service there, so then that, it automatically.
It
carries.
automatically
Right,
carried.
and then
Okay, I just don't have
Judy
the
wanted to
screen in
use
front of me.
375 for fund balance,
All right, so
375K.
43 even,
Yep.
43 even.
I like those numbers, and then 375 for fund balance?
375 for fund balance.
Yep, and then what do we get?
859.
859. Not 860.
Then it would be like 374 from fund balance. Do 374 to see if you can get that to. There you go. 374 from fund balance gives us 860.
I like that better. And remember, this is not an exact science either. 374K.
Well, I was just trying to put a little bit more money
No,
back
yeah.
into fund
No,
balance,
it
but I
really-
mean, what am I talking, $26,000? I'm not
That's
talking
okay,
about a
well,
lot of
I'll take
money.
it, because we only have, was it 239 left? Which
Do
is,
we want to use that much fund
which,
balance?
it's plenty in terms of the DRA guidelines.
Yeah, but still.
And we have, I mean, we've used, over 300,000, I don't know what we used last year, but we haven't had a ton to play around with.
Ever?
No, water's hard, because
Yeah.
the rates are low, we don't generate as much as we do in sewer.
But it really comes down to how you want to structure the rates,
Right.
In this scenario, we see it, the base rate, the minimum is equal per thousand to the over 5,000 rate. So it's in equity to everyone, fairness to all.
Right,
The rates for large users and big users would be the same.
right.
So that's something, definitely to consider when looking at these rates. Both the base and the over.
Let me-
Yeah, but I mean, if you deduct more from fund balance, that would change the equityness. So,
Correct.
So let me review, 43,000 for the base rate,
$43.
$43, you know what I mean. 374 coming out of fund balance to
And
offset,
860.
and we get 860 for a rate.
Yeah. Oh.
And then in sewer, we're gonna leave the base rate at 62.
Yes, we weren't touching the base rate. in
We're
sewer.
gonna apply 430 against the rate, 430 in fund balance, and
Yeah.
we're getting a rate of 1177?
Right.
Eraser, now that I have my magic eraser.
And then that allows us to pay down a bunch of debt on the sewer side,
Yes,
which is good.
yeah.
Which will then run right back up again
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
at some point.
But,
But we're
'Cause we have-
able to leverage those dollars. I
Right.
mean, as we did
It's
this, I mean, in the sewer, you don't want to apply, you can fund projects with fund balance, but it's to our detriment to do it, I think. I would rather not borrow money, but if we can pay down the debt, I think it's sort of a trade-off.
mhm.
And we still get to leverage the appropriation dollars.
And we have to hope our revenues go up in sewer a little bit.
The septage ones.
Septage receiving, yes.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, maybe.
All right.
What's the
We reminded me of a
5885?
question, actually.
That's the per thousand for the over 1,000. That's 1177 times 5.
Ooh.
So in that scenario, it's slightly favorable to the larger users, the sewer, than the smaller users.
But we're not changing the minimum on the sewer side, so it's
Correct.
the way it is.
That's the way that is. I'm gonna fix my
Yeah,
spreadsheets.
that's nice to be able to do that because of
Right,
the water change.
right, exactly. Oh dear,
I know, this is,
hard.
I mean, it is very hard, and I mean, I really applaud this board for being responsible to take care of and protect its infrastructure and understand that it's either do it now or do it very soon in the future when things break, and that's,
Yep.
when you're looking
Well,
at 90-year-old pipes.
Yeah, it's scary, and I really like the fact that we're going to be able to pay off all
On
of
the
that
sewer
debt,
side, I know.
save that interest,
Yeah,
and then be able to hopefully apply that money toward what other projects we need to do.
right, and we'll still have a very comfortable fund balance in the sewer side.
Right.
Yeah, I firmly believe we're taking the best long-term view that we can. I mean, we're acting upon the best knowledge that we have, both for the short run and the long run.
Jason, this is amazing.
I know, isn't it fun?
I love it because you can look at it in real time and go, okay, what happens if we do this?
Right.
If we were all sophisticated and had all our, we'd have a big screen up here and we could do this every meeting.
I should
Well, you
pu-
know, we
I should
need to buy
publish
a
this, right? This
projector.
spreadsheet.
You know, you should. And
For the other,
for the water,
Mm.
this should have Jason's name on it. And
oh, you mean put it in the town report or something?
no. For
Other users?
Yeah, other water districts. They can
DES.
use Jason's affordability management tool, and there we go.
Yeah.
I love it.
Wow,
Throw some goal-seek instructions in there too.
yeah, goal seeking, I like that, I like
You
that.
gotta show me how to do
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
that.
in Excel 2007, it's kind of, you can probably figure it out.
I bet Josh is using that now wherever he is. I bet he knows how
Not
to.
that hard, really.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those formulas if you don't know how
Well,
to
it's
put
one
it
of the
in.
menus. of the-
Yeah, so I just have to find it. So that's easy enough to figure out. That was horrible.
It's either under data or review.
It was actually very good due diligence
It
on this
was.
board's part, very good.
Thank you.
So as you see there, just that projection, we're
Yeah, we're
about,
at,
the sewer is about 1.94% of the MHI under that projection.
and that's, we wanna be above what?
1.5, between 1.5 and 2.5,
And what
so
is-
we're right in the middle on that one.
What is water?
Water is,
1.57 or something like that.
yeah, so that was 43 and
I sent you those
8,
spreadsheets last week so you could tell me about the
Yeah,
old numbers.
1.56.
1.56, so we're just over the minimum
I just glanced at
on
them.
water still,
Just teasing you.
which is not a bad place to be.
Okay, so
But we are
we're
over,
just over.
right, as long as we're over the 1.5,
That's
we'll
good.
qualify for RD
Okay.
eligibility.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah, you
There's
could
a lot
actually
of
have
stuff to
separate
balance.
inputs for water and sewer at the
Yeah, I-
tops. Yeah,
Yeah,
when we could.
Yeah, just
Right, so
copy
do it back
that,
and forth.
copy everything to another sheet and then, yep. Okie dokie.
Alright.
What else we got? No.
I think we've exhausted the agenda, haven't we, Mr. Chairman?
Well, I'll speak to exhaustion.
This hurts my head after a
Well-
while.
And I was hoping we'd wrap it up by 7, so
We did,
we're
right?
doing.
And so listen, I have us on a schedule for next week.
What are we gonna know new?
No, not to do this, just to have a meeting. You gotta come in for signatures anyway that day
Okay.
at some point, because we have payroll,
Right.
which is fine. And then we would go the 5th and the 19th instead of the 12th and the 26th. So nobody said last
Right.
week, nobody wants to be
That's
here.
good.
Right.
Now, we may, other than signatures, we may not have a big need next week, but if there are any, let's
Any
just
little
keep it on the
things that we
schedule.
might need
Yeah.
to,
That's
Yeah,
good.
I mean, and if we
Something,
don't
right?
need a meeting, we can always cancel it and then just
Yeah.
come in and sign.
That's true. That's
Okay,
true. And then we go to the 19th though,
right. Well,
which is fine. Give me a chance to wrap this up and put it in a package and I'm thinking,
and you're working on the,
town report?
yeah,
No, not yet.
not yet.
Well, I need all this to be able to start
Right, so,
working
well,
on it.
you know the stuff that we're gonna bond.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I did today. I drafted a warrant article
That's
just
what
on
I
the
meant,
water
warrant
side.
articles, that's the
Yeah.
word I was looking
Well,
for.
I will be working on those. I drafted one and sent it off to our DRA representatives to see if we could borrow, let's say on the sewer side, 9.475 million. And then in the narrative, specify the amounts with the purposes.
Oh,
To see if we
so
could
we
do one
can
for water and one for sewer.
sewer.
And that way, if they say, well, we don't want you to do Bailey Ave, then amend it out.
Right, and it's
That's how-
easy to see it
Yeah.
and what the amount is.
I just want
DRA to
Because
bless
you can't
us.
mess those warrant articles up. It's gotta be correct.
Right.
And I wanna get, her name is Michelle Clark, I wanna get her buy-in early.
She's DRA, right?
Yeah, and I should maybe send it to Renelle LaHoulier too.
That's the name I remember from
Yeah, I love
last
her
year.
name. Yeah, I mean, if DRA approves it, she'll approve it, probably.
Yeah, but like you said,
But I did see
yeah,
a warrant article that had a $2 million number with not much specificity after that. That was okay, so us should be okay. As long as we talk about each one at the bond hearing, we should be able to have one vote unless, and they can amend it up and down. We should tell folks that, like if you want to amend this, you can.
Right.
okay.
Otherwise, we're gonna have 10 votes, which I am trying very hard to avoid.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
'cause
a
that
lot
just
of
drags things
reading
up. Yeah,
and
yeah,
Too
yeah.
bad.
voting, and they have to all be open for an hour, and
Right. Which is
Yeah.
10 hours. No, because
yeah, which is,
Hope not.
no, I mean, I'm hoping that's
I mean,
gonna be okay with her.
Bob Clay reads it fast, but
I asked nicely, and I didn't mention the other one that I saw go through the other couple of years ago, so
okay,
we should be good.
all right.
All right, so at
Make a
six-
motion, we adjourn.
Yes,
Wow.
at 6:53.
Okay, come James.